Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
All right. Welcome to Amateur Hour. I'm going to quit saying that, by the way. I think I've said that too many times.
Welcome or
Amateur Hour. I think people know what they're... I mean, there's only like 5 people listen to this. I figure they know what they're listening to.
hashtag Amateur Hour Podcast.
It's just hashtag Amateur Hour. Or just AA. You'll get a lot of Alcoholics Anonymous stuff and an Amateur Hour.
Hour starts with an H.
Yeah, you're right. But it's hashtag AA because I do another podcast that's similar, but it's about alcohol.
Anonymously.
Oh yeah.
No one knows who your partner is.
I think it would be better if it was alcohol ambiguity. So you're not anonymous, but it's just not real clear.
Yeah, because
vague.
when you go to those meetings, you're there.
You are
you
there.
It's not like a teleconference.
You don't have an avatar. Yeah, it would be a lot more anonymous if you weren't actually there. The best way to be anonymous is just to not tell anyone about your alcoholism and
Yes.
I don't know, keep on going. Well, anyway, the other day I was heard a lot of grumbling from people at the league about their teams, about how they did that day. 'Cause we had a lot of blowouts,
Yes.
So it made me think, for whatever reason, of this Cosmos episode I saw, and it was about climate change, which I know is some kind of controversial thing for some reason. But in the show, the host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, is walking down a beach, and he's got a dog on a leash. And they trace his path with one color line, and they trace the dog's path with another color line. And the example is that his straight line that he's walking is climate, because you can measure it. It's predictable, depending on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And the dog's path is like weather, which is unpredictable and always chaotic, and people can't really predict it very well. So I think that people are a bit obsessed with the weather, and they're ignorant of climate, because in the way I'll put that to football is, I think they look at 1 week, at one game, at one play, and they make that their entire team. Like when the Expendables beat the Jack Boys.
Yes.
Okay. The climate of those two teams, the trajectory is different.
Yes.
One is probably one of the best flag football teams I've ever seen. The other one is what I would call an up-and-coming kinda.
Yes.
It could be good one day, but they're nowhere. They are not. The weather that day was just really in their favor. So, in a week of blowouts, pay attention to your team's climate. Don't worry so much about the weather. It'll be sunny another day. You'll be all right.
I'm very weather-oriented on our team.
I know you are. I know. But you just
I feel every drop of rain that comes down on our team.
Every drop of rain burns into your soul just a little bit more.
Yep.
But anyway.
Sometimes you get shoved in the chest.
Yeah, sometimes. Well,
which happens
That's happened a
because
few
you deserve
times.
things like that.
Well, on to the games. So the first game was the Expendables, who we just spoke of, playing Nightmare. Expendables won that one 42-6. Nightmare's first game ever, by the way.
That's actually I actually kind of like that name.
Oh, it's a cool name.
I mean, it's better than Touchdown Factory. I'll tell you that.
Touchdown Factory was one of the worst.
Yes.
But
they had a nightmare of a game.
No, that 6 points was kind of a throwaway 6 points. I mean, the ball didn't move across midfield in the first half, and it only did once in the second half.
Yeah.
And I think that's because the Expendables were bored.
And the Expendables had some good-looking uniforms, I'll tell you what.
Man, those are some nice unis.
They are putting in the effort and the money towards this league.
Oh, yeah.
tell you what.
They're one of my favorite teams. They
look good. That was a good
Robert Girard is doing a good job with that team, and they're all very into it. They have fun, although I couldn't wear the compression gear.
Not anymore. That's what I was telling them. I said, yeah, we used to wear that for one time, and then we all got fat and we looked stupid in it.
I'd look like a overstuffed bratwurst.
Is that a man or a woman on TV?
That's a woman. Or
a wom?
A man.
God.
We're watching Judge Judy.
She's got fish lips. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, anyway.
Good Lord. That's
okay. Oh, she's holding a dog. I thought that was her. All right. So the 11 a.m. game saw the 409 boys playing another kind of first-time team, the Storm. 409 boys 34, Storm 0.
The Storm was a couple of teams put together. The former Pirates and Purple Cobras and probably another team, but
Okay.
they will be all right with better quarterback play, I think.
Well, Blake told me that their quarterback wasn't there, so hopefully he'll be there next week and they'll improve a little bit.
409 boys look like they do. They look good.
Yeah, they are consistent. Their climate has always been just fine.
They are the Neil deGrasse Tyson. They're walking that straight line.
Yes, they're kind of like if you wanted to talk about a part of the world like San Diego, just always pretty pleasant. Earthquake every now and then, but other than that,
but when you wake up, it's going to be 72 degrees and sunny.
It will be every day that JC smiles upon you. Well, anyway. 12 p.m. game. Hitmen played the Jack Boys. The Jack Boys won that one pretty easily, 44-13.
Welcome back, Hitmen. It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's good to see some of you guys back out there.
Their original quarterback, Connor, can't remember his last name.
McGregor?
No, no, not that one. But he's back.
Moore?
Yes, Connor Moore. He's
close.
back. They reassembled their team, their red jerseys, and they'll be all right.
Yeah, they just got to get playing again.
He is a real quarterback, and I think they'll be competitive.
They just happened to play the Jack Boys in the first game, so that'll make you look less.
And the Jack Boys, I think Tone was out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're hard to beat whenever he shows. They're hard to beat anyway.
They had a new guy out there. I think his name is Taylor Labrie. I never seen him before.
The new guy.
He looked pretty good.
I have news on the Taylor Labrie front.
Yeah.
We'll go over later.
He wasn't as fast as I heard though when I saw him out there. But
Well, just bear in mind that your hair could depend on his attitude toward you. Just keep that in mind.
I'm excited about this.
It's called a teaser. Call it a teaser. Anyway, 1 p.m. This was the game of the day. It was the most competitive game. The Herd played the Squad. Squad won 18-16. It was a really good game. I think David Dixon figured a lot of stuff out. He ran the ball when he needed to. When we backed off into coverage, he ran. He didn't try to do stuff he wasn't good at. The passes he threw were easy passes where people were wide open. It didn't get frustrated. They played good defense. They have E.J. LeBlanc that they picked up. They picked up a guy named Antonio Furr, and there's another guy, I don't know his name, but he was a pretty good athlete as well. Like 3 or 4 new guys that were pretty good, like good upgrades.
Yeah, that's an improved team. They've got some talent on there. They had some big play, first play of the game, and then the second half we started off the second half with a 15-minute drive and got 0 points out of it.
0 points.
And then they went down and drove the rest of the last 5 minutes of the game and scored at the very end and
exciting.
Won 18-16. And it was we've played the Squad 10 times since this league started, and I think that's the first time they've
beat us, and they looked good.
They earned it.
They played hard. They used their guys correctly. They used Rob Hawkins right. They used Troy Freeman right.
Yeah.
That pass at the end, they threw a jump ball, and you were there. But the guy, he's taller than you.
That's 6'3" against 5'8".
Yeah. It was a good play. David threw it perfectly. And David played quarterback the whole time, which I thought was good. That's the best I've seen him look at that position. He ran when he needed to run.
He made all the right plays.
He didn't try to throw it places where it didn't need to be, except that one time that he threw an interception.
And then I landed right on my pelvis and spine and thought I broke my back.
We'll go to that later, too.
But yes, this will be another topic.
And then the last game of the day, the Jack Boys played the Showstoppers, and I thought, it could have been a good game, but Jack Boys beat them 30-0. It even ended early. Not having Dilts there or not having Chris Cunningham there kills them.
Yeah. Or
they need somebody to play quarterback.
I just see that as I just wipe that game. If I was the Showstoppers, I don't even look at that. I just wipe it off. It's a loss. We'll just move on.
Well, sure.
And that's why I don't take much from Showstoppers games without their quarterback, and but they're getting more and more games without having their quarterback. So I guess we're starting to see more of the real Showstoppers until they get Jake.
But yet with our games, You know, we only had 8. Our quarterback had to play defense.
You had to play defense.
I had to play defense.
I had to play defense.
We were missing some key people, but I know that when you see that, you think the end is here and that's we suck. You know, right? Your weather,
but I
weather.
put more emphasis on. I mean, I put more into seeing our games like that because that's how we show up more and more every week.
I disagree. I think we beat the 409 boys in the tournament, and they showed up with a good team. I mean, look, we're not that far removed from success.
Well, whenever we get our team to show up, we will be better. But until I see that happening, I think we're still going to kind of just be where we are.
Well, all right. Well, stay tuned for the next segment, and we'll talk about some other stuff here in a minute.
There are topics to talk about.
Topics and topics. Stay tuned.
You'll never get free, lamb to the slaughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed is your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Look me in my eyes, tell me everything's not fine. All the people ain't happy, and the river has run dry. You thought you could go free, but that system is done for. If you listen real closely,
all right, welcome back. This segment is a very sad segment.
It's deep, it's thoughtful.
The thoughtful segment. I didn't come up with it, so I'm just going to have to react to what this fellow here is saying. But
reactions. That's a good lead-in. I like it.
yes. So Lenny Kravitz once said, "It ain't over till it's over." The Doors talked about the end. And I don't know, some singer at some point probably talked about dying. So with that said, go ahead, Troy.
I would like to speak about the end of people's flag football playing career, how their different ends come. There are some ends that aren't as, say, noticeable. The ends where somebody gets a job out of town and can't make it every week and plays less and less, and then eventually just kind of fades off. Just can't play anymore. Can't call them. They're done. They're not going to be around to play.
As you do this, I may label some endings.
Interject.
Okay, the jobs and the go out of town thing. Let's call that the hang on, I'll think. Keep going. I'll come up with
That's
it.
good. The next one is the guy that has a family. You know, kids are growing up or maybe having multiple kids, and the kids start doing things. You have to be the parent and take them places and do things, and you have less and less time to play. You may agree to play, and then all of a sudden a family thing comes up, and you got to go, and then you end up just not playing anymore. Those are the type of endings that just kind of fade off, and they're not painful. They're not. You don't even really notice them sometimes because you play less and less, and then you're just gone.
I would call that the Kevin Holden ending.
Okay.
Yeah, the Kevin Holden ending, because I remembered that he was playing. He played a little bit less, then he played less, and then he didn't play really, but he would just come out to the Untouchables games, and then eventually he just wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what I would call the Kevin Holden ending.
Yeah, they're not painful. They're not sad. They're almost not even noticeable. You just kind of fade away, and all of a sudden, man, where was that guy? Oh, he hadn't played in 2 years.
You know, the out-of-town job ending may be the Boosie ending.
We call that the
Boosie ending.
But that wasn't much of I don't know as much of a job as it was career life change.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, yeah.
I guess.
It's similar. It's a similar thing, yeah.
Well, I'll think of another one in a little bit.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Then we move to the other types of flag football career endings. The ones that kind of are quick and come out of nowhere, the injury that ends, that just all of a sudden you're playing and you lose, your knee's gone, or something happens where that's the end of the career. I'm done playing. The injury, or you may get hurt and then you come back from the injury and you I just can't do it anymore.
Weren't the same.
Yeah, that ending, that one's a little more sad because it happened so quick when you weren't prepared for it.
We call that one the Troy Maddox ending.
Well, no, no,
I'm just joking.
I'm talking about like an
I know.
injury, an injury,
A
a
bad
career-ending injury.
Yeah.
That's that's the roughest one, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. We could call that the you know what? We could call that the Dalton Ivey ending.
Yeah, that was he. He
He was very into it. He wanted to play a lot, and he tore his ACL, and he was done.
Those knees went out. Yeah, that'll do it.
Now he's doing car commercials or something.
And another one, which I find to be the saddest one, and I feel I'm heading in that direction. This
is the Troy Maddox ending.
It's the person that has played for a long time, and they keep playing, and they're getting older and slower, and they want to keep playing, and they don't realize they're not as good as they used to be, and they keep on playing and getting worse and worse and not making the plays, not reacting as well. And it's just, all right, I've got to quit. Or people have to say, people stop asking you to come out and play because of that. So that's the sad one, I think. That's the one that's the hardest to take as the player, when you're not asked to come out to play anymore, or if you're out there and you just realize, oh my God, I'm so bad, I can't even do this anymore.
You know what? I think that's the rarest of the endings, because I think most people stop playing because they get busy doing other stuff, really. I mean, the Chris Westman ending is, you just get busy doing other stuff. You don't really have time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most common. I think getting hurt's pretty common. I think that playing flag football until you just can't really play anymore is the least common. But I don't think it's that sad. I think it depends on your perspective, because it's not like the NFL where you just look pathetic or it's like this guy just likes playing flag football. And if you're self-aware enough at the end to go, okay, I'm not what I once was, but, I still enjoy going out and catching a pass, change your role a little bit, and if you like young people, not like them in a creepy way, but if you like young people and you like to kind of help other people out, kind of like Clint does, like Clint doesn't really play anymore, but I know he still likes to come out and talk to the guys on his team, and he would come out and play a little bit and talk to them. I don't think that's real sad. I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice.
Well, yeah, if you know that about it, like
you have to know it.
This is why I feel sad about this, because I feel like I'm falling into this category. It made me think about it after this past week of, like I was telling you earlier, I feel like I was defensively I've been a liability for a couple of years now, but offensively I've always been pretty steady and make a lot of plays, and I don't react offensively. I make the defense react. I always made plays where I'm getting out there doing things, and the defense has to react to me, and whatever move they make is probably wrong. Now I'm at the point to where this past game I was reacting to the defense and was not making them make a decision. They were making me make a decision, and I've never been like that. And it was hard to like feel like I was lost out there, and that's what I realized. I was like, man, maybe I'm on the wrong side, and I'm heading down the wrong side of my playing career. Obviously, at 35, about to be 36, yeah, obviously I'm on the wrong side of my playing career, but I've never felt like that in my head. I've always been able to go out there and make plays, and I never had to react. I was always aggressive and proactive, and this week I felt very reactive, and that was very unlike me, and that's why this topic came up in my head.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think self-awareness plays a big part in all that. I mean, if you realize it, I think it makes it a lot better. If you never get there with it and you still think that you're the athlete you were at 25, you're probably going to be like, I don't want to pick on anybody, but there's one little fella down there that constantly says he's the best at X, Y, and Z.
At everything, yeah.
Everything. That guy's not self-aware.
Yeah.
There are people that want to go out there and play quarterback for every team they play on, and they're just not the quarterback, That's something, I talked about David Dixon in the previous segment. That's something David's done. David has become self-aware. He understands who he is. He understands what he can do, or at least it looks like it to me. And, I mean, man, much better product on the field. So, like, I'm trying to be self-aware. Look, I'm a center. I can snap a ball pretty consistently, and that's about it. That's about what I got.
And I think, and with that awareness, I think if more people had that awareness, they would. I don't know. I mean, once you get out there, some of that awareness goes out the window. I guess it just depends on who you are.
Well,
But
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you like to beat the other team yourself. I think you like that a lot.
But who cheers? I cheer just as
No,
much
you
when our
do.
team when our
You
team
do.
does well.
But I think if you aren't the guy doing everything, I think, you think you're not doing enough. Or
well,
whatever.
I still feel like I'm one of the better options on the field, and
Yeah.
if someone else isn't making a play, well, let me do it.
Right.
But I mean, that's just should be your mindset as a player anyway. That's what I think. But I think I'm at the point to where I realize I can't do all that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's like you said, self-awareness. And when you aren't as good as you used to be, you have to find that role that fits you. And, how do you do that? How do you change your role on a team where feel like you've done everything on the team? How do you change? It's one of those things you got to figure it out. How do you do that?
Well, at some point I played linebacker well, but not recently.
I can't play defense anymore. I mean, shit.
But that's what I'm saying. I used to I like that more than the center part. But I don't know. I think it's finding different roles that you can still do. Like, I like organizing the team. I like trying to help make decisions and stuff. It's kind of like just moving on to things that aren't so physically demanding. Man, that sounds like an old fart sentence.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm at that part. What do I do? How do I make playing flag football on my body less physically demanding?
Yeah, well,
That's the point that I'm at now. But I still think I can do things that I can't do anymore.
maybe just take a bunch of drugs before you play. Uppers, downers,
All of them.
Hoosker do's,
Husker don'ts.
Hoosker don'ts, with or without the scooter stick. Anything else on this?
No, that was just my thought on it. The mortality of the football player, the flag football
Flag
player.
football mortality. That's some good bumper music for this.
I bet you do.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We have one more segment that'll be a little bit more uplifting.
Let's have some fun.
You can continue your day without feeling like you need to drive off a bridge. So,
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
we'll be right back.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain.
Welcome back to the mysterious third segment.
Oh, a little cowherd callback. I like it.
Colin Cowherd reference. I'm going to call this segment
In restless
what we
dreams,
think
I
about
walked
other
alone.
people.
Oh, God.
So basically what I'm going to do is I actually have a list of names. Troy's just going to come up with names off the top of his head.
I was told to come up with a list of names for the show, and I did not.
Well, I'm going to tell
because
you.
I'm just lazy.
I'm going to tell you a name.
Okay.
And then I just want a paragraph, a hashtag. I want your thoughts on this individual. Some of these are people we all know and love. Some of these are famous people. There's a hodgepodge. They're all football related, though.
Okay.
Everyone. All right. You ready for the first one?
Number one,
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers, my favorite quarterback.
See how well I know you?
Yes, he's.
Why is he your favorite quarterback?
He's got a very similar attitude to me. He's got a very similar temperament on the field that I have. But it's odd to see come from a quarterback. So I guess that's one thing. He's a gunslinger, a side armor.
Is that your favorite quarterback ever, or just your favorite quarterback now?
He's my favorite current quarterback, and he's probably in the top 3 of my favorite quarterbacks.
Okay.
Doesn't have a lot to show for it win-wise, but
No, I think he's excellent.
I mean, everybody. I mean, a million people love Tony Romo, and he's terrible. So
That's ridiculous.
they have the same amount of wins. I'll say that.
Yeah, but
Rivers has more playoff wins, but
whatever. This is your time to talk.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Give me one.
okay. Let me give you one. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is, to me, the best quarterback that's ever played. He's, I think if you wanted to tell a little kid what to do to be good at anything, you could show them Tom Brady at football, and that little kid would be good at whatever he wanted to do. Because if you spend if you spend as much time and energy and passion and just belief in yourself looking at engineering stuff or gas station receipts or whatever, if your kid's going to be like a gas station clerk, you'll be really, really good at whatever it is, because I think talent and intelligence and all those like hereditary, gene-based things are important. But man, hard work and just time spent doing stuff is irreplaceable. And with most things, not professional football, not professional basketball, not being a medical doctor, but any job where you can be moderately intelligent and succeed at it. If you spend that much time doing it, you'll be really, really, really good at it.
He's what I'll say as a relentless winner.
Yeah, he's unreal. I think he's the best example for any youth as far as a professional athlete doing that part of the job. Yeah. I think he's the very best example.
His want to win is unyieldingly severe.
Yes, that's very good. All right, you ready for the next one?
Next one.
All right, this is a good one.
Okay.
Cody Quartz.
Cody Quartz. The most consistent center in the flag football league. The only reason why we still have flag football in Southeast Texas.
Hey, all right.
And forgetful.
I have a lot going on, a lot on my plate.
Forgetful.
And I eat most of it most of the time, so
yeah.
I'm pretty chubby.
Does not follow through with my requests. Almost never does he follow through with my request.
You are in a very long line. You know how other people have yes men that tell them yes? I just tell everyone else yes.
And then that's the end of it. Nothing else ever comes from it.
If you hook me up to a polygraph, though, I do mean yes. I just forget it. Just have a lot going on. Now, if you pester me, you'll always get done if you pester me.
Oh, well.
Or if it seems...
You want me to start pestering you about things?
Yeah, I'll do it then. You just got to kind of, poke me a little bit. And I'll...
Yeah.
I mean, you already poked me a little bit.
Oh, hey.
Well, that was pretty good.
And very afraid of the male touch.
I don't like it when men touch me. Despite everyone my entire life insinuating that I was homosexual, I don't like it when men touch me. I barely like handshakes. They're creepy to me.
It's odd. Yeah, that's why I never shake your hand. It's because it's an odd thing to do with you.
Your hands are bony. They're weird.
Okay.
You know what? I think this getting off a little weird here, but I think it's because my dad's hands are like Hobbit.
He's missing. He has to be missing some knuckles. Like they're short.
He's only got one knuckle.
Yeah,
that's one knuckle Bubba. And he knows that his hands creep me out. So when he sees me, he like grabs my shoulders, and it feels like a weird nubby alien is grabbing on me, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
His limbs are so short. We used to call him the hydrant.
Just about to say, he was a man that's once known as the hydrant is not a lanky person. All right, go ahead. Give me another one.
Next. Oh Lord. Well, you went with you. I'm going to go with me next. Troy Maddox.
Troy Maddox. Old Troy is he's the sort of person I've always, for whatever reason, gravitated toward in life. Someone who is exceedingly talented and really good at something, but not agreeable. Well, you're one of the most disagreeable people I've ever met in my entire life, and you do away with social convention and everything else. Anytime I've been when I'm around you and we're around someone that we both don't know, I'm usually okay with that. It's when you're around people you know that I can tell get on your nerves that I get the most nervous, because you say little offhanded things like, well, that's not true. Or everybody knows that. Yeah. We learned that in elementary school or something. You say little things. I'm like, God, that's needlessly inflammatory. But you are you're probably the best runner of a football and flag football I've ever seen, ever. So there you go.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
See
that.
how nice that was?
I appreciate that. I figured you were going to say something like, I'm petulantly competitive.
You are. All these things are true.
That would describe. I feel like that describes me better.
All of these things are very true. All right, give me another one. Oh, wait, no,
your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Okay.
This is a good segment.
Yes.
Good pick.
We were having fun, yes.
Okay. Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Oh, God. I almost want to say he's out of touch, but I feel like the older he's gotten, the more in touch he tries to be. Like, he doesn't try to stay the same old codger guy. He wants to be one of the boys.
I think Jerry's a little bit self-aware now.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
he wants to do right by his players and not just by the Cowboys. Like, he doesn't want to just be Jerry Jones Cowboys. He wants the Cowboys to be the boys.
I agree. I think he's a personable guy one-on-one. Like, I think he really cared about Des Bryant a lot.
Yeah, but I do think he's still, when it comes down to it, he's still a billionaire owner of an NFL team, and he's the same as every other NFL owner.
Yeah, did you like the Vegas thing? 'Cause I think that was all him, like moving the Raiders to Vegas.
I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good move. I think he's one of the, like I said, because I think he has gotten more in touch with the league and the players and the fans instead of just being one of the. He still has that billionaire owner mentality, but he realizes it's not just about those guys. Everybody else is important too, and Vegas is the next step.
I don't necessarily think he translates to a good, like, let's go win a Super Bowl owner, but man, I think he's good for the NFL.
Yeah, he wants money is the number one thing first.
Sure,
winning is second to him.
Yes, I think that's probably true for most of them, though.
Yeah,
with the exception of
like Robert Kraft or whatever. Yeah,
he likes to win.
Yeah.
All right, give me one.
Let's see. We'll go. How about John Gruden?
John Gruden. I don't really like John Gruden. I think John Gruden took Tony Dungy's team and won a Super Bowl. Now, he did. I mean, I'm sure he's a hardworking guy, but I just think he's one of those guys that basically he had a big personality. He looked, he was a kind of a redheaded, a different looking guy that made the angry face, and he was yelling, and people always like the throwback coach that yells a lot, But I just don't think he's as good at being an NFL coach as people have ever said. I just think he's got a big personality.
If he would not have played the Raiders in the Super Bowl, they would not have won the Super Bowl because that was a team he just came from.
Right.
He knew every in and out of Rich Gannon's off, like how he played quarterback.
And I believe he was successful with the Raiders as well.
He was. He got him to AFC Championship twice.
And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he's not great.
Yeah.
To me, Bill Cowher was great.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Bill Cowher.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. If they would have played any other team but the Raiders, they would have lost that Super Bowl. Defense in Tampa was amazing, yes, but he knew everything that offense was going to do in that Super Bowl.
And I'll just say this: 2018 football, the yelling guy, all this stuff. I just don't think it translates so well anymore. I just think a head coach is just a mouthpiece. I don't think he's the main guy at any team anymore. I think Bill Belichick's the main guy.
I don't know, but I'm saying that he's the outlier. I think most of the time,
okay, I agree.
Unless you're a coordinator like McVay in Los Angeles, unless you're the coordinator that's out there calling plays all the time, I think the head coach is usually just the rah-rah guy. That's really all you get now.
Yeah, that might be true.
But I may be way off base, too. I'm sure they have a lot to do with the team. I'm not saying they don't, but I still think your coordinators are where you get most of your action from.
Well, and I'm getting off track
Yeah.
here. But anyway, I did listen to a podcast, by the way, if you guys want to hear something actually pretty interesting and you like sports. There's a Freakonomics podcast, and right now they're doing a series on sports. I think the second episode in it, they talked to the 49ers GM and head coach and a bunch of their players. I think they talked to the GM. But anyway, when they talked to the head coach, he gave them his schedule. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah.
He watches every game they play, I think, 5 or 6 times. With different, because he watches the entire game, then he watches the offensive plays, the defensive plays, the special teams plays, and then he watches all those with those different collections of people, and that's not counting the rewinding and watch. I mean, just the film part of it is unreal.
The younger coaches, like in San Francisco, Shanahan, McVay in L.A., those younger guys, I think they put more hours into it. They're the ones that, because they're coordinators too, they're not just the head coach.
Right.
They are out there in every little aspect of that game, especially whatever part of the ball they're on. So I think those guys are different. I'm talking about maybe like the older guys.
I hope.
And most of those older guys are leaving the game anyway.
I hope Kyle Shanahan enjoys Beathard.
Oh, that hurt.
Is that not depressing?
That hurt my heart when I saw that. Garoppolo go down, even though I don't think Garoppolo's that great anyway. But
well, he's better than Beathard.
Yeah.
All right, here's your next one.
Next one.
Taylor Labrie.
Oh, that new fella that came out?
Yeah, that new guy.
Insanely athletic, almost unreal athleticism.
Okay.
A little emotional. Different, you never know what emotion is going to come out of him from time to time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just a freak of nature on the field. Can throw the ball the entire length of the field. Can run the entire length of the field faster than anybody. It's just everywhere on the field. Can do everything. Can snap the ball from one side of the field to the other. He is an unreal specimen on the field.
Well, that brings me to a little bit of a teaser for next week, or the next time we do this podcast.
Yes.
Next time. How well do you think Taylor Labrie cuts hair?
Well, we're going to find out.
That's right, kids. Here in a couple of weeks, Mr. Labrie is going to cut Troy's hair, and I'm going to interview them while he's cutting his hair.
You think he's going to give me like a old South Side fade or something, or is he going to line me up? Is he going to give me some Z's in the side of my head or something?
Hopefully, he's as good of a hairstylist as the dad / whatever he was on Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
I don't care what it is. I just want to have fun with it. He can do whatever. I don't have a hairstyle anyway, so I really don't care. He can do whatever he wants to me.
Okay, so we'll do that on Facebook Live, and then I'll also put it on the podcast with the video so everybody can see Troy get his hair cut in whatever style or fashion that Labrie desires.
I like it. I'm ready for it.
All right, give me another one.
All right. Let's go with, somebody in the league. Let's go with... Bruce Reyes.
Bruce Reyes. That's an interesting character. I think Bruce is maybe the most underrated quarterback that's ever played in the Flag Football League. I don't think that he gets the time to do what he needs to do. Like as far as he had his own team for a while, and I don't think that he had enough time with those guys to develop enough plays and everything. I think if Bruce ever got the time, to go practice and be the only guy at quarterback, he would be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league. He's quick. He makes decisions really fast, and he's got a pretty good arm. And he's good when he runs the ball.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was say. decision making on the field is really good, and he can throw the ball from all different angles. You can tell he's got a lot of like shortstop, or he's a base. You can see he's got a lot of baseball, and it looks like he used to play infield somewhere. He's got that sidearm motion. Sometimes he can get the ball out all different angles. He's
a nice head of hair
every time. Yeah, I mean, and just is a good decision maker on the field.
Okay, yours, Colin Kaepernick.
Man.
Right?
Man, what do you say about that?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, another guy who has probably the best, most athletic quarterback, the most talent you could have out there, can throw the ball 100 miles an hour, and that's it. Can outrun anybody. But, got blackballed from the league.
I think if he could go in somewhere and they could win a playoff game with him, I think that team would take him in a heartbeat. But I think he could go in and be okay at this point. Yeah. I think their problem with him is less about politics and more about, are you going to put the time in to do all the football stuff since you do everything else that's frivolous and not football.
I think one thing football-wise that kind of got him in trouble was, then this is just things that I've heard, that after the Super Bowl year, Harbaugh wanted to kind of run the same type of offense, and he said he wanted to throw the ball more instead of run the ball. Now, I'm not saying this is true or fact or anything, but this is just what I've heard.
Source?
Being a 49ers follower.
Oh, okay.
This is what I heard, is that he refused to run the ball as much. He wanted to be more of a thrower.
Right.
And he obviously doesn't have the ability as a thrower.
Well, people think
football.
People think that he lost his job at the 49ers because of his politics. But like I said, I listened to the podcast where they interviewed the 49ers president and a bunch of guys. And the guy made the point of, he was like, no, after he made his protest, after he started doing that, he started all the games the rest of that year.
He was still the starting quarterback
for the rest of that year, and we didn't do well.
He had an injury, and he came back slowly from an injury, and then eventually all that stuff happened, and it was, he was out.
I just think he's like Tim Tebow. I just think he's more... Tim Tebow could probably play something in the NFL, but it's annoying.
The rule is, as a quarterback, don't take a knee for any reason. For Christ, for police brutality, whatever. Do not take a knee for any reason as a quarterback.
I mean, can you think of one politically active quarterback, outspoken politically active quarterback that's been considered good?
No,
I can't think of any. I mean,
because their job is to
Joe
play
Namath was annoying and loud, but he wasn't exactly a politician. I mean, he kissed Susie Colbert on the mouth.
Yeah, but that was way after his playing career.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just
30
saying
years after his playing career.
He did a lot of crazy stuff, but man, you got to go back to the 60s.
Yeah, but that's like the best quarterbacks are quarterbacks. Their job is to play quarterback and win football games. They're not supposed to be good at everything else. They don't need to be. They're not supposed. We've talked about this probably, whenever earlier on in this podcast, and it's infancy. We talked about this.
It's infancy
about
now
quarterbacks.
Now it's at least a toddler.
Yeah.
All right, give me one.
All right. Well, you just said him, Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. I think Tim Tebow was probably the worst starting quarterback I've ever seen play in the NFL.
Yes, I agree.
I think people think that he was blackballed from the league because he was so religious and such a good person that the NFL just couldn't stand having a really good role model, nice guy Christian be on top of everything. No, I think that's why he got the chance he got. I think he got all the benefits of the doubt because he was that way, and he probably is a very nice man. However, I'll say this about Mr. Tebow. He's supposed to be... Go team, I'll do anything for the team, I'll do anything to help you guys win.
Except.
And then the caveat is, well, as long as I can start at quarterback.
Yep.
Well, that's not doing anything you can to win. That's being one of those guys who, man, I don't want to say names. There's like flag football names that are coming to my mind right now. But look, I don't think he's as nice a man as he portrays.
No.
I think he's a typical Florida, Southern good-looking guy who probably has been, people probably treated him pretty nice throughout his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he kind of expects that. And when he doesn't get exactly what he wants, I think he's probably a little bit pouty or upset. And then he goes to play baseball, which always seems to work out for everyone.
Yeah. Just ask.
I don't like Tim Tebow. Okay.
I've never liked him either. Ever since that.
He never returns my phone calls.
Ever since that speech at Florida, I'm going to be the best player ever, and we're never going to lose again because I'm Tim Tebow.
He's the father of the jump pass.
No, Joe Willie Namath was the father of the jump.
Whatever.
He's the son of the jump pass. He's the red-headed stepchild of the jump pass.
No, to be a red-headed stepchild, you have to be abused. He's the latchkey silver spoon baby of the jump pass. Okay.
Because that would be 2 in a row for me.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, Le'Veon Bell. Doesn't really understand what's best for him, I think. I think he thinks he's doing what's best for him. But he's...
I think the guy's confusing basketball and football.
He thinks he's making a point and is going to make more money this way. I think in football you're losing time, you're losing parts of your career, especially as a running back.
Oh yeah.
You need to play to make the money. If you're not playing, he's losing money right now, so he's making less. He's making no money doing nothing right now, so you're losing all the money that you could be making trying to make your point. You're trying to make more money for yourself as you're losing all this money. It's very, very confusing. You want to get as much money as possible, yet you're turning down all this money they want to pay you to play football.
I mean, don't you also think, and maybe I'm wrong, you can tell me, that in basketball there are special players that you're like, we all know that no one can do what LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or these guys, Kawhi Leonard can do.
Yeah.
We all know that no one can do that. Therefore, they will get money, a lot of money. But in football, I always think of basketball as like sort of I don't know, people doing some sort of art thing where it's like, oh, I don't know how they do that. That's great. Football to me is more like building something. You have like a welder and a guy who does this thing, another guy. Yeah. It's, Le'Veon Bell's a running back.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh's a good organization. So, he's like a hair's breadth away from some, Priest Holmes type guy or whatever that nobody saw coming, just taking his spot. And when you're that guy, you can't afford to do all that. I mean, the James Conner guy, I think, was doing pretty well for a little while.
They would probably be doing better with Le'Veon Bell, but they're getting out everything they can out of James Conner, which is pretty good. He's doing what he has to do. He's making himself some money because he's making plays. He's doing what he has to. But I think you strike while the iron is hot, and right now it's not hot.
No, it's September, or well, it's October now. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, that's not when they're like, they're like, okay, well,
I mean,
all right,
they offered to pay you a lot of money. Sign this tender, whatever it was. What is that, the 1 year deal?
Franchise
tag. So sign the franchise tag. You're going to make the average of the top 5 players of your position. Go get it, and then next year we'll re-sign you for more money. But no, he wanted more money right then.
Right.
And now he's losing all this money that he could be making. So I don't know if that's the best way to do it. People are on his side. A lot of people are on his side. I'm always on the player side when it comes to things like that, but this one he's just not making.
I just think it sounds silly. I'm like, dude. I mean,
you're in this you only play for a certain amount of time. When you stop playing, people stop caring about you on the field, and they're not.
He probably has like a 6-year career.
Yeah, he's already played like 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and he's always suspended for drugs his first few games of each year.
Like, so your team hung in there with you when you couldn't quit smoking weed.
Yeah, you were suspended for the first 4 games of like 3 of your 4 seasons. It just drives me insane.
All
Yeah,
right.
he's really good at football.
He is good at football.
But right now he's
He's a good footballer.
not doing anything.
All right, give me one.
Well, all right. Let's see. Do we want to do someone controversial or how Eli Manning? That's as controversial as it gets.
Eli Manning is my son's favorite player. Like the best decision he ever made was he cried enough to not have to play at San Diego. Therefore, he got to win two Super Bowls, and poor Phillip Rivers had to go pick up the scraps. Because if Phillip Rivers played on the Giants, I think they would have won.
They would have
one
won
more Super Bowl, maybe,
they
or they would have been better.
Yeah, the Giants would be better with Phillip Rivers.
The best thing Eli Manning does is that when there's a whole lot of pressure on, he plays fine. He's like, I don't care. He just takes chances. That's great. The worst thing Eli Manning does is when there's no pressure on, he's like, I don't care. And they lose a lot of games that I don't think Eli's all that special, honestly. Well, he's a different kind of special.
If he was just Eli Smith,
yeah. No,
that Manning
I don't know
name,
about that. I mean,
Manning name is what
the guy won 2 Super Bowls, and in the 2 Super Bowls he played well, beat the Patriots. I don't know. He's so confusing to me. And he looks confused. His facial expressions are confusing.
His face is what I call enigma.
Enigma. So, and if you ever look at Wonderlic scores, which I'm a complete nerd and I go research these things. Eli Manning had, I think, the highest Wonderlic score ever. So obviously the guy's smart. I'm sure he puts in the work. I don't know. He
is average. He's medium.
He's Peyton's little brother.
He is medium.
He's kind of medium. That was rough.
Is that all of
Poor
them?
Eli Manning. No.
Oh.
No. I got a couple more. David Dixon. I'm not throwing you slow pitches here.
Could possibly be the best athlete out there. Is all over the field. He beat us in flag football this week.
He did beat us in flag football this week.
Yeah, when he wants to, when he turns it on, he can make every single play on the field. And he's got a much better attitude this week. He was fine on the field. I even tried to talk a little bit noise to him, and he didn't have it. He wasn't having it this time.
He wasn't having it.
So,
yeah, I told you. I talked to him. He's self-aware now. He is focused.
Call back to segment 2.
That's right. He is focused on the win. All right, give me one. 2 more after this.
Okay,
you're done.
Let's see. I'll go with somebody in the league. How about?
There's a person in my ears suggesting a Matt Wilson.
How about Matt Wilson?
Oh, Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson is, you know what? If there was ever a Brett Favre of flag football, it would be Matt Wilson. He's just, Matt has, I think, probably the best arm down there usually as far as throwing it accurately and far and other things like that. And he's probably with Favre on the, record number of touchdowns, record number of interceptions thing. Matt, to me, is like what I think of when I think of a flag football gunslinger. I mean, he, better or worse, he will put the ball, like, in an interesting place. And, man, when Wilson's on, I think he's the best quarterback down there. And when he's off, I think we need to go drink a beer and watch football.
He takes every chance. He's going to take that chance because he knows that he can make that throw. No matter what the throw is, he can make it. He can make every throw on the field if you ask him about it. And he's going to take that chance because, hey, I can do it. I can fit it in there. I'm going to throw it deep. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it. So I like having that, that ability on the field, that mindset that I can make every throw and I'm going to do it. Sometimes you got to turn that off, though.
Well, I'll Matt, look, Matt's my favorite flag football quarterback ever.
Mine too.
But I think that sometimes, I don't even know that he would realize this or agree with it or not, but I think he gets bored. And he's like, I think I want to fit this in a 1-inch window now. And, it's like, when I'm decent at ping pong. So when I play someone who's not very good at it, I like to play left-handed or do whatever, because I'm bored. And I think Matt, every now and then, if he's not kind of careful with it, he gets a little bit like, I kind of want to fit something in. I want something to look kind of neat. I don't know, because there's people open. I'm like watching, that guy's wide open. And then he throws it in a tiny window, and it's usually there. It's just a hard catch to make,
You can tell when he's got the band tuned up and he's orchestrating, when he's calling plays, bam, 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 and hitting them back and forth and calling plays. And then there's those times where we're sitting there waiting and you have to turn around and say, call a play, Matt. Those are times where he's not, he forgot his little conductor instrument and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't, half of the band hasn't shown up to the gig and he's just.
There might be a low-flying aircraft. Matt, I love you. You're the best. If you listen to this, if you've listened all the way to now, I'm sorry.
Yes. Let's roll. Let's get rolling.
Okay, Terrell Owens.
The showboat of all showboats. My favorite receiver. Made great plays. Was an innovator with dances in the end zone. And what's that? The Sharpie. His best end zone celebration was pulling the Sharpie out of his sock and signing the football after a touchdown. That was pretty good. And then taking the pom-poms from the cheerleader and dancing. I thought those were pretty interesting. And maybe the popcorn when he was in Dallas. Oh, and the star, standing on the star in Dallas. That's the best one. Running to the middle of the star when he was in San Francisco and standing on it in Dallas. That's probably the best one. That's the most iconic one.
Terrell Owens is everything that's wrong with receivers.
Oh, no. He's not a good role model for receivers. He was, but if you just take game highlights, watch him play football. Don't take off the field stuff. Don't take in the huddle stuff. Just take highlights, cut-ups of plays being made. He could do everything. He could do deep balls like Randy Moss. He could go across the middle. He could run, drag routes like Jerry Rice. He could do all that stuff. Maybe didn't have the best hands. He did drop a lot of passes, but he caught a lot of passes and had a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns.
He's not good at managing money.
He's not a good human being at all. He's a terrible human being.
I don't know if you know this, but he was married to a woman who lives in Beaumont, and she lived in Beaumont when she was married to him.
Oh, wow.
And I think that I've met her. I have met her. I won't say how I've met her. It wasn't in a personal way. It was in a professional way that I met her. But I think, now I could be wrong, I think he married this woman so that things could be put in her name. I think that was the whole story behind it. But she lives in Beaumont.
Oh, good. Well,
You can Google her. You can find her.
No.
If you wanted to, you could.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk about that off the air.
Give me one more.
One more. Let's go with, you'll like this one, Dez Bryant.
Yeah, I almost put him on your list. I think Dez Bryant is like mediocre Terrell Owens. He's all the... You know what? Terrell Owens is less whiny than Dez Bryant. I think Dez Bryant's got some kind of emotional problem. Because I watched the Amazon Prime show, The Cowboys. Can't remember what the name of the show was. But he's such a little weak guy in their meeting, and all the coach was trying to tell him was, hey, the secondary we're playing is pretty good. And he's like, well, why don't you ever say that we're good? I'm like, is that really all it takes? I mean, I've had coaches scream at me for basically nothing. And this guy basically says the other team is good, and you get upset. Like, you never tell me I'm good. And I think he was always overrated. I think Romo, who I love, made him look way better than he was.
Yeah.
And I think, he was way more of a headache than he was an asset. Even though people, I'm sure everybody, or a lot of people there's not a lot of people that listen to this, but the folk who do sure a lot of them watch the Cowboys games and think, well, I wish Dez was there, because they don't have any receivers. But, man, that's a Band-Aid that, like, is already infected with some bacteria that's going to eat your flesh. Yeah, it's going to stop the bleeding right now, but later on you're going to die.
Yeah.
So, just bleed a little bit and you'll be all right. Deck will cauterize the wound. Dak.
Deck of cards. I thought you said deck of cards.
Dak, whatever the man's name is.
Dak Brisket?
Yeah, the guy that's going to be quarterback there for this year and no other year. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, my last one for you.
Okay.
This is the last one. Troy Maddox.
Oh, I already said this. Petulantly competitive.
That's what you're going with? You don't have anything else to say about you?
Finally realized his lot in flag football.
Oh.
We've already talked about that.
We had a whole segment about that.
Yeah, that's long.
The producer.
Yeah. She wasn't listening to the.
She showed up late.
She showed up late to her job. No. Competitive to a fault, and wants to win at all cost, and is very frustrated when he doesn't win. Feels like he should do everything on the field for his team.
That sounds great. Anything? Production? Okay. Well, do you have anything else?
No, I've been staring in a mirror in this podcast for the past hour or however long we've been doing this.
I'm glad we've learned a lot about you. All right.
One more for you, Cody Quartz.
Cody Quartz? That's a fine man right there at Cody Quartz.
Wait, did we already do this?
Yeah.
Did you already talk about yourself?
Well, no. I gave you me.
Oh.
But I didn't really talk about me.
I will give you.
Thank you.
This is dragging on and on and on.
I'm a much better organizer of things than a doer of things. I'm really not a very good football player anymore. But I'm a great campaigner of things. I think that I have done a good job with the league. I'm proud of it. I couldn't have done it without everyone's help, especially you and Walt and Carl and Aaron and Blake and Byron and JC and Robert and I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing people.
Those other fellows.
But man, and Stacy Torts.
Yeah,
I have the best mother in the world.
If it wasn't for her, nobody would be watching themselves on video.
But I think I have my strengths. I don't think that they're the sort of strengths that anyone would ever brag about or really notice all that much because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I do, which I love doing, but I don't think I'm a person that many children would want to emulate.
Well, remember, you're very forgetful, too.
What? What'd you say? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I couldn't remember. All right, that's all I have.
Fantastic! What a return to the podcast.
This segment was very long.
Very long. We may have to cut some of these guys out of here.
Yeah, probably so.
Some of you guys that didn't get your name called, we talked about you, but we cut you out.
Yep. All right, see y'all whenever Troy's going to get his haircut. Good luck.